pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sohn, seconded by Commissioner Fine. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Carries unanimously. Number 3 is Officer of the Quarter. Mr. Rudder.
Just going to do a quick presentation. We got our plaques made, across the quarter. They came out really nice. A special plaque on the wall to reward everybody who received it.
Fantastic.
Excuse me, Commissioner.
Excuse me, Chief.
Special meeting on June 28th. I think that's all in the same minutes. The approval of the minutes is for both that and the special meeting on the 28th.
Approval of minutes of the previous minutes, yes.
Yeah, so for both of the meetings.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
So for the members of the public that don't know, Officer Quarter is all supervising department convene once a quarter, and they pick an officer that is outstanding, has great attendance, police work, a mentor to others, and we're 9 quarters into it, so we're 2.5 years into it, and this quarter is Officer Matthew Box. I'm going to read a little bit. This is written by his direct supervisor. Officer Matthew Box is sworn officer of the Fairfield Police Department for approximately 3.5 years. Has consistently demonstrated excellent work ethic, effective and efficient job performance, and is a consummate professional. Officer Box stands out as one of the most productive officers, is always eager to assist other officers, sets a shining example for the newer officers, and has quickly earned the trust and confidence of the supervisors with his high level of initiative and reliability. Despite his already thorough investigative skills, he is always eager to learn new skills, improve his craft. While dealing with the public, his fellow officers, and his supervisors, Officer Box's demeanor is always pleasant and professional. Officer Box is consistently a consistent representative of the police department and the excellence of his agency. So, Officer Bach, I'd like to present you with this plaque and this award for your uniform and congratulate you as our 9th Officer of the Quarter. Congratulations. And he started his new assignment in traffic. Today's his first day. So he'll leave this meeting and go on the road and work evenings, nights, and
That's
Fridays.
some tickets.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations, Commissioners. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Congratulations and thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is number 4, the traffic surveys, and Commissioner Fine will read the traffic surveys.
Okay, location, Stratfield Road at between Lowland Street and Bond Street. Nature of request, cars on Stratfield Road do not yield to pedestrians entering or in the crosswalk. Request ideally a stop sign on Stratfield Road where the crosswalk is at the intersection of Stratfield and Luane and Stratfield and Bond. Install a rapid rectangular flashing beacon or pedestrian crossing stanchion at the intersection of Stratfield and Louvain. By whom? Mr. Daniel Kassoff. Recommendation, deny stop sign on Stratfield Road where the crosswalk is at the intersection of Stratfield and Louvain and Stratfield and Bond. Trim tree branches obstructing crosswalk sign on Stratfield and Louvain. RRFB to be discussed further.
Okay, is there any public comment on that? Come on up and just state your name and address.
Sure. My name is Daniel Kasov. I live at 1673 Stratfield Road. So I just state the
yeah, now you can say whatever you want.
So we moved to Fairfield 5 years ago from Westchester, and this is the only issue I have with Fairfield compared to Westchester. About 15 years ago, I don't know about New York State, but Westchester made an effort to put the stanchions in the middle of crosswalks that have a little stop sign that they stop for pedestrians, and they pretty much put them in every crosswalk, and it works. People started stopping even when they saw people on the sidewalk, like they were approaching. It was almost a nuisance to the drivers. I know making the opposite case. Having moved to Fairfield 5 years ago, I noticed that people don't stop for pedestrians and crosswalks. I have 2 young children. They're old enough now to know not to walk in front of cars. But that part of Stratfield Road is like a landing strip. I mean, people just come off the Merritt and they shoot down it. You guys probably know because there's usually a police presence right in front of my house, giving tickets right there. People move fast. I've been in the crosswalk and cars have not slowed down and just gone around me, me and my dog. All my neighbors have the same problem. My neighbor's dog got killed on the street. Obviously, a stanchion or a RFB would not have prevented that, but cars are moving very fast, and they need something to catch their eye. Trimming that tree back is a nice idea, but on the opposite side, the crosswalk sign is not blocked by a tree, and it doesn't stop people coming from the other direction. I knew a stop sign was unlikely to ask, and I was hoping for a stanchion, like they have down on, as you approach the beach on South Benson. There's a stanchion on, I think it's Jet Road, because I saw those work in Westchester. And then the other option is, the RRFB, the blinking light that I assume as a pedestrian when you want to cross, you press it and the lights blink, just so people there know that they can cross and driver's attention are on the crosswalk, because the crosswalk itself doesn't get their attention. And if you guys don't think that's a good idea, then my follow-up suggestion is get rid of the crosswalk, because it gives everybody a sense of false security. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Gary, did you want to speak to this traffic survey, or?
I'm not here for that, but
Oh, okay.
I could speak to this.
Oh, no, I mean, you don't have to speak, though. Is there, any comment from
Jack, you went on the survey?
Yes, I went on the survey. I think trimming the sign as you're coming southbound might help. And I understand your situation. I've been over there 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And you're right, it's a landing strip. But anything we can do to help make it more visible. The issue we have with the R&B and so forth is Stratfield Road is a state road. And that ties our hands as to what we can do without state approval.
Should I come back up, or could I just talk to you from here?
Sure.
I spoke to the chief engineer of the state before I started with you guys. I had actually called the traffic department here, and they told me it had to go through the state for the same reason. So I called the state, and the chief engineer, his name is Ibarra, and he said no, that Fairfield can put stuff there, and the state has allocated money for these things, and all you have to do is put in a request for it. And the state has no
A
problem.
letter from the state of Connecticut, dated February 2nd, 2021, saying it has to have state approval.
Right.
The money is there,
Right.
but we don't have state approval at this point to do anything.
I misunderstood, yes.
We
They
can-
do have to give approval.
We can explore that
Yeah.
and and do a study, because we have to justify it with traffic volume and speeds and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just add 2 comments, Commissioner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of which, you took my state road one, that was one of them. The second is the RRFBs are specifically for mid-block crosswalks that don't have an intersection. So it is a pretty high likelihood that the RRFB will not be approved. It's specifically for mid-block crosswalks. The second is that this particular intersection, another one is that the stanchions in the crosswalks are not approved by the MUTCD. While we do have some that the Legal Traffic Authority, who is the police commission, have approved in the past, such as Cornell Road by the golf course, and those are just specific to those businesses because those businesses have agreed to take the stanchion out of the road when they're done with business. So we have tried it with residents, one on Judson at South Benson Road, and it has been run over, replaced, and the residents that have agreed to take it out of the road at night failed to do it. So those kind of agreements we just wouldn't be able to get cooperation from the residents. That's pretty much my comments.
I got one question now. So he's saying the stanchion says stop, but is it supposed to be yield pedestrians?
It says yield. Yeah, we are a yield state.
Yeah, Westchester says stop.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Just want to clarify. Thank you.
Is there any more?
I'd
Sure.
like to just make a comment. I too went there and visited, and I agree, it is a problem. Cars do not stop, and they do come down from the Merritt pretty fast. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if there's anything else we could do, but it's definitely a problem.
The police presence there helps, of course.
Absolutely.
It's just people get wise to that, and you can see the police person, and they're not always there. So, I mean, I see them there a lot, which is great. There's a lot of times they're not.
Well, you can't, have the whole town covered.
Yeah.
Better we have filming to sit there.
All right, is there any more comments from the commission?
I just had a question. Is there anything else from the enforcement side besides the presence that might help? Anything different or new or creative out there that might, whether it's here or anywhere else, actually?
Anything new or creative would have to be in the MUTCD, and we would have to then get, so even if the local traffic authority approved that, it would then have to be submitted to the state where they would have to approve on top of the legal traffic authority. We've been trying for years to try to get some improvements to that intersection because it is a state road. If you'll notice, the signs are bright green where the crosswalk is. It took some time to get those up from the state, but we did. We can also, Mike, if you want to get the increased signage, the electric signs, we can deploy those.
Okay.
And as they're temporary, they're most effective when they're temporary, but we would be able to deploy them on a temporary basis to assist.
You mean like the speeding sign?
Yeah.
Flash for speed?
Yeah.
Chief,
Go ahead.
Just an idea, I'm not sure if this area has it yet, but it's something that we could at least explore. It's been used in other towns, and it's becoming more prevalent here. We use it at times, but the pole delineators that slide in the new channel post kind of bring a little extra notice to those signs. Maybe we could request from the state for a neon green pole delineator to be placed on the two signs that notate and mark that crosswalk. I've seen that work and bring a little bit more attention to things.
Be great.
Can I ask a question? Is the state law that you have to stop if somebody is in a crosswalk, is that actually the law?
That is, you have to yield to someone in the crosswalk. So they have to overtake the crosswalk in order for you to then yield. But if they go onto the other lane, then the other traffic can go. So you don't have to wait for them to be on the other side. They just have to yield to them clearing the crosswalk in your lane.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because I was in Miami last week with a friend of mine from Florida, and we had the crosswalk, and my buddy walks right out there, and I'm like, stop, and the cars actually stopped. I don't know why. And he said, no, they have to stop. And I said, okay, I hope they stop. I'm from Connecticut. I'm waiting until the car is actually gone or actually stops. But that's the law there as well. Okay, thanks.
All right, is there any other comments from the board? Is there a motion to approve the recommendation? So moved.
Yeah.
Second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Lebo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. That recommendation is accepted. And Commissioner Pine, traffic survey number 2.
Location, Turney Road and Riverside Drive. Nature of request. Stop signs are not observed. Request to add a crosswalk and sign in the middle of the intersection and cut down the tree that blocks the stop sign on Turney Road. By whom? Megan Dockham. Recommendation, crosswalk to be discussed further. Deny sign in the middle of the four-way stop. Trim back tree that blocks stop sign on Turney Road.
Okay. Is there any public discussion on this one? Okay. Is there any discussion among the commissioners?
I've got something.
Jack, no.
So I have a boat in Reno, and I go down that street all the time.
Yeah.
And you're right, the tree is covering the stop sign. If you know, I know it's there, but I think trimming the tree is probably the best solution, not cutting the tree down. Then you see the stop sign. But I mean, if someone doesn't know the stop sign's there, you're right, it's could be hazardous. But so I'm in favor of trimming the tree.
Yeah. I
So your
agree.
suggestion is to trim the tree, not cut it down?
Correct.
Yep. Mhm.
Correct.
Trim it. Mhm.
It's not a big tree, it's
You okay with that?
what is, you guys,
The Japanese maple?
yeah, it's a very small tree.
Oh.
Mhm.
And as far as the crosswalk goes, it's a four-way stop.
Right.
Adding a crosswalk is,
Mm.
then we'd have to be adding crosswalks every four-way stop
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
I
No.
agree.
Any further? So I'll make the motion that we accept the recommendation with a denial of the crosswalk.
Tree or separate?
Well, the recommendation is to trim the tree. So it would be, the recommendation is to deny the crosswalk, deny the sign in the middle of the four-way stop, and trim the tree back that blocks the stop sign on Turning Road.
Mhm.
Is there a second?
I second.
Commissioner Pine, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Item number 5 is old business, parking at Burke Court. And this one is unlike anything we have ever seen before. So at the prior meeting, I'm just going to pull up this document here. At the prior meeting, the item was before us to remove parking spots on Fairfield Beach Road between a series of addresses that were immediately adjacent to Burke Court condominiums. In the past, in 2018, a similar request was made in which 2 spots were removed, and prior to that, there was another request that was made. When we approved the removal of those spots, made that approval. We made that approval based upon the information that we were provided at that time, and that information was provided by now retired Captain, was verified by now retired Captain Tersey, and was presented to us by petitioner Margaret Capel. That information, among other things that we were presented with that day, it stated that that there was no opposition to the removal of these parking spaces, and that was based on quality of life and to help enhance sightlines. Commissioners asked at that time what the local businesses thought of it. We were presented with a signed letter at that time from the business alleging to be the owner, written by the owner of the building at the corner of Fairfield Beach and Reef Road, which is 740 Fairfield Beach Road. The letter was written, and it says, as the owner of the commercial building housing the That's the Spirit Shop located at 740 Fairfield Beach Road, and next to Burke Court condominiums, I support Burke Court Condo Association's request to remove 3 parking spots on Fairfield Beach Road in front of units 672, 674, 676, 678, 680, and 682. Customer parking for the commercial building is primarily adjacent. In the adjacent parking lot, the lot provides ample room for our customers to park. There are also 6 spaces in front of the building which customers can use. The 3 spaces in front of Burke Court condos are not needed for my customers. These spaces are typically occupied by college students during the academic year and beachgoers during the summer. This letter was signed and presented to us by Ms. Capel. Upon the Commission's approval of the removal of the signs, or the parking spaces, I was contacted by the building owner, which is WKP Enterprises, LLC, and specifically Kevin Pinto, stating that he was very upset that the spaces had been removed, which caused me a great deal of confusion because I said to him, we had said at the meeting, we were provided with this letter, and we were also told that the businesses down there had no objections, and the surrounding properties didn't have any objections. So I informed the other commissioners that we had some conflict of information here. And then myself, along with other commissioners on their time, went down to Fairfield Beach Road to talk to the people involved. I sent the letter that we received to Kevin Pinto, who has sent a letter back to us saying that he did not write this letter, he did not sign this letter, and he had no knowledge of this letter that is allegedly written by him and provided to us. We then had Captain Truthy had verified some of this information. Well, we asked if it was verified. He may have just taken her word for it that all of this was provided by the people, and obviously he's retired, so we can't ask him exactly what he did and did not do, but it has become apparent that the information that we were supplied that day is inaccurate, and this letter, which I then spoke to the owner of that Spirit liquor store down there, who goes by the name Jimmy, he has also written a letter saying that he opposed all of this. He told me that Ms. Capel had come into the business, provided him with this letter. He read this letter, did not agree with the letter, and said he was not the owner of the property and she'd have to go to the owner of the property. And he said that he did not sign it. Then I spoke with representatives of Lantern Point Condominium Association, who stated that all of their residents are in opposition of this, including the residents of the association at Lund Court. So I have spoken individually with all the commissioners, with the chief, and others about this. So what we can do today, and what I plan to do, is make a motion to reconsider this item. That motion to reconsider will take a 2/3 vote of the commission to be reconsidered. If that passes, then the item as it appeared on that day will be present before us. So that would be addressing just the removal of the 3 parking spots as it was projected that day. If we get to that point and we can hear from people who are here today as to their thoughts on the matter, if those spaces, if that application is denied, then we would instruct the department to request through the Department of Public Works or whoever that those spaces, parking spaces, be restored. Now, I know that there's some concern from Kevin Pinto, who's attorney, I believe, is here today, and Lantern Point Association, that based on, that based upon the information that we received being inaccurate, and what's really concerning is a document that is not that is basically a forgery, that the petitions brought prior in 2018 by the same petitioner, we don't know, because none of us were on the commission back then, or were you?
Me and Jacqueline.
No.
Yes.
2018?
Yes.
That any information that was provided on that day, the accuracy of that information and the decisions made by that commission at the time to remove those spots may not have been accurate either. So if we today take this motion to reconsider, we'll take these 3 spots up, depending on what the commission does. Those 3 spots can be restored. For the 2018 decision that was made, Lantern Point Association or any of the neighbors around there can take out another petition from the traffic division here. You just need to get the neighbor's signature, and then those spots can come back for, the petition would be to restore the spots that had previously been taken. 2 were taken in 2018, and I believe there were a couple taken well before that through efforts of, I think it was Vince Biondi at the time. So if that goes through, then if that additional petition comes in, have the town engineer, and I already spoke with the chief and Captain Colville about this, town engineer can go down, make sure that it's in compliance with all the TCD standards and that there's proper setbacks and can present a plan. But, so today, the only action we could take if there's the motion to reconsider is to either keep those spots eliminated or restore them. So I'd make the motion to reconsider that item. Is there a second? A second. Second by Commissioner Ambrose. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay, so that's more than 2/3. So the item is before us again. Do you have the original? And what we'll do is we'll first, we'll take, I know some of the commissioners have a lot to say about this because they're...
Are you looking for the 2021 request?
Yeah, as it was written.
Would you like me to read that?
Yeah, if you could, that would be great. Our acting secretary.
This was traffic survey number 1 on the date of April 14th, 2021. Fairfield Beach Road, Burcourt condos, nature of request, parking is only permitted on Fairfield Beach Road in front of Burcourt residences number 672, 674, 678, 680, and 682, Fairfield Beach Road. Request to remove the remaining legal parking spaces in front of Burcourt residences at 672, 674, 678, 680, and 682 Fairfield Beach Road in order to resolve safety and quality of life issues. By whom? Margie Capel. Recommendation, approved to remove the remaining legal parking spaces in front of Burcourt residences, install no parking towaway zone signs.
Okay, so that item is now before us. The Ms. Capel, from what we understand, she's not on the bridge, on the phone, is she?
It's just for listening only.
Oh, it's for listening? Okay. Apparently, after this happened, her condo went on the market and apparently pending sale. And I didn't think she would come today. So, you know, and there's been, well, we'll discuss among the board because I know there's a lot of discussion the board wants to have, but why don't we hear public comment first on this item, just to hear what the public has to say, and then we'll have a public discussion with the commission. So we'll start with Engine Point.
Hello, my name is Brian Russell. I'm the president of Engine Point Association. I'm also part of Glenport Homeowners Association, so I'm actually here representing both of those entities. I sent you a letter, emailed you a letter regarding this matter. We were in none of these situations over the course of the years were we ever notified of any of these proceedings. We never signed anything. We were never asked to sign anything. We were never notified of it. What we did see was we just witnessed the parking spaces disappearing. Probably should have come here earlier to make a petition to put the parking spaces back, because the truth is we need every space we can get. Like, this is a huge burden. It's burdensome for the students because students need places to park as well, and it's burdensome for us in the summertime. We have a lot of people with, all families with children and older folks in the summertime. And now we have people who are walking up, Reef Road, fair distances sometimes. We have some parking, and we work to maximize that parking, but we need street parking for both associations, both Glenport and for Engine Point. And the truth is, in terms of the students, like, I know a lot of people don't like students, but they're part of our community as well. And it's a constant challenge, and it's not fair, in our opinion, that students should be denied parking just because they're students. I think everything else in my letter, but basically what I said was I'm unclear to me what the quality of life or line of sight issues would be. It's standard parallel parking on the street. Most of it's been there for as long as I've been in Fairfield, which is since 1985. Except for the last few years that they slowly, sort of disappeared. And shame on us for not coming sooner to, speak up. So not only would I love to see these spaces put back in, but I would love to see all of the spaces put back in. And the other truth is that it's not beachgoers in the summertime. Like, there's not people walking to Penfield Beach from, there may be a couple occasionally, but those spaces, if you were to stand there and monitor them, you see they're all people that are going to the neighborhood. They're going to the liquor store, they're going to the deli, because there's a deli there as well. They're going to the Grape, but many of them are coming to us. They're coming to visit us, their family and friends and that sort of thing. So we would like our family and friends to visit us, and we would like the college students to be able to park, safely and not have to walk from Veterans Park.
Okay. And for your petition, with the Lieutenant Paris, you could help them,
If you would send it
to restore the
traffic.
form or whatever you could give them?
Yeah, if you just give me your email, I'll give you the
Sure.
survey.
That's it, right?
Yeah. And since there's not a ton of people, after the commission discusses, if you have additional comments, you can make those, but Attorney Rizzio.
Chairman, members of the commission, Raymond Rizzio for the record, attorney at 10 Saskatoon Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, and I represent Kevin Pinto. And what's most disturbing is you came in to see me about this parking spots. They never got notified. Probably the business most impacted by it. There's a liquor store there, a deli, 2 apartments. They're really part of the community there. Pinto's owned that property for 20 years. Have operated the businesses there. They've worked pretty well with Lantern Point. The parking demands have become, they used to share a lot with Lantern Point. Lantern Point's demands have gotten, or demand for their parking has gotten even larger, so that we have just our small lot now, and those spots became very, very, very important. But what we find incredibly disturbing that somebody would submit a letter over our client's signature, which he did not sign, did not know about, and we found out about that today, and just find that's reprehensible. And especially to leave it, of all commissions, the police commission, to rely on something like that is almost just, it's almost can't even make this thing up. But they did it. I can unequivocally say, I'm happy to say, I've never signed the letter, never approved the letter. Additionally, there's a letter from the person from the liquor store, I think, has been submitted, and also one of the tenants. I have a copy of the letter if you need it. It also says those parking spots are necessary for their business. Their business serves a lot of the people in the beach area. Those spaces have been there, forever. He opened the business in reliance on those spaces being there, additionally with the deli. For all those reasons, we'd like to see these spaces reinstituted or reestablished. First of all, number one, they were based on misrepresentations to this commission, which we find just deplorable. And secondly, there truly is a need, as you're hearing from the residents. And there's no real negative impact on the neighbors. They have a fence there. If you've been back there, it is as well screened a piece of property as you can imagine. They have some visitor parking, so there really is no negative impact there. It's not as if the spaces are perpendicular and people can say that the lights are shining into their windows or anything like that. These are parallel parking spaces that have been there when everybody has purchased those units. The spaces have been there. Businesses now move there in reliance on it. People have relied on it as far as additional parking for the people at Lantern Point. Our client spoke to the owner at Seabrake, and they were very, very much opposed to this application, opposed to the removal of these spaces. So for all those reasons, we would respectfully request this commission reestablish the spaces. It's just an unfair chain of events. A bunch of people have ended up getting stuck with tickets in places they've normally parked. So if we get the signs down as soon as possible, because it is impacting these businesses. People are not going to drive all the way up Reef Road, park, and walk 3 blocks down to get their deli sandwich. They're just going to go somewhere else. And find out if they have to park at Moe's to get to the liquor store, they may as well get their liquor from Moe's. And then we have, like I said, we have tenants. So it's just parking is a premium in the town. Becoming more and more a premium, and it takes spaces away that have no impact on anybody's health, safety, or welfare, no traffic, no impact on sight distances or anybody's safety. It's a crime to take them away at this point, especially based on inaccurate information. For all those reasons, we respectfully request this commission reestablish those spaces. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start with commissioners' comments, because I'm sure everybody may have something to add. We'll start down there, and then we'll work our way down with Commissioner Ambrose.
I was on the traffic study. I think Commissioner Stone was with me on the traffic study when we did that traffic study. And my understanding was that there are no sightline issues if you were to exit Burr Court and look to the right. There were no sight line issues. The concern was perhaps looking to the left.
but I'm probably more disturbed than anything that this affidavit or this statement that was made by this individual that insinuated that the liquor store owner or the owners were in favor of the petition. I think that is de facto just off the charts. And I think my decision would have been completely different had I been aware of that falseness. And I would like to reconsider my decision.
Commissioner Kiley?
Oh, thank you. Couple questions. I just want to level set what happened. We voted on, was it April 18th, did you say? April 14th? 14th. April 14th, okay. And the motion that the chief read talked, I think there were 5 addresses that you read, and the chairman spoke about 3 spaces that we were looking to remove. So did we vote on 3 spaces? Did we modify that to make it 3 spaces? And I guess my follow-on is, how many spaces were actually removed as a result of that vote?
Chief, just remember that was missing one street number, which I think was 676. Because remember, we had to amend it at the end.
Yeah, there was something funky with it. There was a house number missing.
Right, that's correct. She lived at 676, Margaret Capel of 676 Fairfield Beach Road. The request should also include 676 Fairfield Beach Road.
Okay. All right, so I thought we were removing 3, and that's totally fine, but how many were actually removed or affected or changed? Was it 3, was it 4, was it 5? What was the end result of the work that was done down there as a result of this vote?
Before 2018, there were 5 spaces there. Then in 2021, they removed an additional 2 spaces.
2018.
That's right, I'm sorry. And then in 2021, they removed those 3 spaces that were left.
Okay, so there were 3 spaces that were removed.
That they went from 5 to 3, and then 3 to 0.
So it's 3 that were moved because of what we did in April. Okay.
That's correct.
That's fine. All right. And I guess my only other comment would be, without repeating what was previously said that I agree with, is the only thing that makes sense to me is to just wipe out what we did that day and reverse that vote, that item, and reverse the work that was done, and just go back to where it was 3 months ago. Take the signs down, take the striping down. I know it's a couple bucks to do it, but I think we should do it because we shouldn't have done it to begin with what little I know today, and just go back to ground zero as if nothing had happened, and see what happens from there. Whether somebody comes forward with a recommendation to remove those 3, or maybe somebody comes forward with a recommendation to add a few back in. I don't know. I would leave that to the normal process. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me, without getting into all the back and forth. Sir?
Okay. Okay, so I echo the other 2 commissioners that this is abhorrent, this letter that was a forgery, that misrepresented completely, what was going on. I got 2 comments. One is, these condos were built in the late 80s, and of course they went through the planning and zoning, and there were no site issues when they approved the condos being built, and those parking spots were there. So my feeling is, why are we moving parking spots when the planning and zoning, when they built those condos, I'm sure they required off-street parking, but there was no line of sight issues then. Why are there line of sight issues now? Secondly, the letter that was a forgery, I would like the police to investigate possible criminal charges. It's obviously a forgery second, 53-139, when someone forges someone else's signature, especially to a public commission. Okay, that's probably right. And secondly, if that doesn't seem to fly, I would ask the town attorney to write a demand letter to this Ms. Capel about any kind of monetary damages that the town incurred on having to put back those parking spots. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I think, as far as the criminal charges go, that would probably have to be brought by the person whose documents were forged, which would be Kevin.
That is correct.
So,
Yeah,
okay, so, Mr.
I mean-
Attorney Rizzo.
I'll talk to my client.
Thank you.
I think he's really upset about it. I don't know if it's going to rise to the level of seeking prosecution more than just making the situation right.
And she has moved to Florida, so that extradition is not going to happen.
But actually, the monetary,
Fly me to Florida, I'll go check.
I'll take a road trip. No, but I mean, I realize but I mean, it is seriously, does fit the statute. But the other thing is, I mean, why should the town have to incur these, constant changes where it costs money? I mean,
Yeah, we can talk to Attorney Baldwin about that, depending on what the commission decides to do here.
so,
But I would just add to that, there was all this discussion on sightlines, and I went down there to Burr Court, and, I looked, when you look left as you're pulling out, it's clear on the sightline all the way down the sidewalk, past the fire hydrant. I mean, you can almost see all the way down to Roland Road. So even if all of the spots were restored there, you'd still be able to see traffic or bicycles or anything coming down there. And when I was down there, somebody that was listening on the conversation brought up a good point. This is a private driveway coming out of Burr Court condominiums. So if we allow for these very large sightlines for them, then what's to prevent anybody from who has a private driveway on Reef Road coming saying, we want these extended sightlines too, and then we're going to have no parking in the beach area at all, because you can't do it for one, not for others. And I think taking, when you come out even before, that sightline to the left with that, all that space is just bizarre looking. And around the fire hydrant, the proper setbacks should be there, but it looks like, that in the future, if somebody makes an application, look at, maximizing the amount of spots, because there is no place to park down there.
Chairman, if I can, I'll just submit, so the commission has to look at, this is just an overhead that I took right off the internet. It actually shows all the spots, if you guys want. So at least you can visualize exactly what was there prior to this taking in April. And if we can return to that, I think we can.
Very well prepared now. Actually, I think this is,
I pulled it all, I can't tell you when it was taken, because I did just basically put it up, got it on.
yeah, I think this was taken,
Before
I think this was taken.
before the 2018.
Yeah, because that extra spot is there. So when you look here, this first car, the white car, that spot was removed in 2018.
And question, in terms of, do we know how many spots were there, like, at the maximum numbers? Because my memory is that at one point in time, long before 2018, there were probably 10 spots there. Is that accurate? Do we know how many spots were there, like, going back? Because it seems to me that these spots have been just chipped away. Every few years we lose a spot or so.
There were 5 spots. The difference was there was
Going
no...
back 20 years?
Well, there was no delineation on those roads, where the actual parking spaces were put in. Yeah. So, if you had an SUV there at one point, it might take up a space and a half. But if you had 5 or 6 small cars, you might be able to fit 6 cars.
Just in case if you want to see.
Sure.
So there was never a point in time when it was 10 cars?
But when you put in your...
Not unless they were violating the fire hydrant.
And if you put in a request for additional parking, the town engineer will look at the spacing, the width of the road, the spacing, how big the spots are.
That's even the other side of the fire hydrant.
Yeah, even the other side of the fire hydrant. If you add that in to maximize the use of spots down there, and then the engineer would provide the report here saying the maximum number of spots that you can have along there is this. So that can be done too. But, I just think that we have to, I think it speaks volumes that there's nobody from Burr Court condominiums here today, that, in light of all of this. And whether this was one person's crusade or actually what the association wanted. I mean,
I don't know that.
you know, if you have two people that are having people over, and, because I represented the seller on a property in there, if you have more than one person having a party on the same day, they have a parking problem too.
Right.
So I'm sure, you know, there was never any mention that anybody thought these spots were anything but an added convenience, and they're not permit parking. So that makes it even, but, so, I mean, I'm against granting, I'm for the restoration of the three spots at this time that we can do. Okay.
I agree. I'm in favor of restoring those 3 spaces. And the commission really spoke well on these issues, so I don't want to keep adding. However, I am really appalled at the fact that someone would come with false information and bring it to this police commission. You know, there's not really much we can do about it. She is in Florida. It may take us, a lot of money to do that. However, how do we avoid that in the future?
Well, I think that I spoke to the chief about this. There's going to be more verification of documentation that we're provided.
Yeah, or
with.
maybe,
I mean,
Further follow-up to verify that the petitions that are being submitted are in fact the people who are submitting them, and the signatures that were provided on those documents are in fact valid. If I could just add one comment, and I am in favor of all this, and I've spoken to the chair a few times. I think based on what it looks like down there, it's almost egregious for the high the lack of parking that's down there already, and I think the premium of parking that should be down there. I just want to add into the record that I know Mr. Russell had stated that he was not notified by anyone from the police department that there was going to be some changes, and I have an email dated July 2nd, 2021. March 16th, 2021, to Brian Russell from Antonio Granada, lieutenant at the time, who's now a captain. I talked to our Special Services Division this morning. They gave me some background on the parking in front of Burke Court in 2018. There was a petition to eliminate the 5 parking spots in front of Burke Court. The Police Commission, the governing body that makes the decisions, denied that. It was agreed upon then that 3 spots would remain and 2 were eliminated in 2018. I also attached a picture of the current parking spots in front of Burke Court that have been there since early 2019 and will remain. This new 2021 petition will have to go in front of the Police Commission, which means first it needs traction, then they need to propose it to the Commission in writing with signatures, then it gets posted on the agenda for an upcoming meeting. This is after the requesting petitioning party canvasses the neighborhood for signatures, including residents and commercial businesses. This is all needed prior to being placed on the Commission. This email goes on stating that Mr. Russell, who represents Lund Court and Lantern Point, and I'm not in objection to these changes that are being made, but for you to stand there and somewhat discredit that you were not fully notified about it is also not correct. In addition, Antonio Granada provided Mr. Russell with the links to the minutes for the Commission and when the Commission meetings are, when the agendas are there. So, in defense of the police department, I just want to put that on the record that it was communicated to the neighborhood. Whether that got out there or not, I'm unsure.
Very important. Thank you.
Can I just respond for a second?
It's up to the Commission.
Sure.
So Tony did send me that information. I never received any of the follow-up, though. I assumed that it wouldn't happen because he told me there was a series of steps that you just read that would occur, that we would be contacted, there would be signatures, there would be notification of meetings, and none of those. So I wasn't throwing stones at the police department, just so I'm clear. I think if you talk to, Captain Broderick and Lieutenant Granada, you'll know that. But none of the steps that Tony outlined occurred after he sent me that email. So I thought, this didn't happen. So I'm not saying that I didn't know. I was aware that something was happening because that's why I asked him the question to begin with. But none of the things that he stated, like the list of things that he said would happen, none of those things happened afterwards. So I don't think it was unreasonable for me to assume, I haven't been notified, I haven't signed anything, it was not unreasonable for me to assume that, like, oh, it's not an issue anymore, like this, things like this happen all the time, they just go away, like there's not enough traction, whatever it is. And he himself said there has to be traction. Then all of a sudden the spaces were gone, and I was like, what's going on here? So that's what I was referring to. It wasn't that I was completely like in the dark. I was in the dark in 2018 for sure, but in terms of this, the quality test didn't happen. So. Well, I wasn't criticizing the police for failing to do.
I didn't take it that way. I just wanted to put it on the record that in March 9th, he sent you an email, and April 14th was the commission meeting, and provided you all the information for that. That's all I was saying.
Mr. Stone?
I just want to, I was on that survey, and first off, I am also appalled at the forgery that was submitted to us for evidence. I take issue with the fact that there isn't a sightline issue to the left coming out, because it's dependent upon what's parked in those spots. If it's a large SUV, some of these utility trucks that contractors now use, like the big Mercedes, it is definitely an issue coming out of there. And I think Commissioner Abrams had his own car there that day and actually went into the lot and came back out and agreed at that point, because there was a large vehicle there that it was difficult to see. Is my memory correct?
Ambrose.
Ambrose.
Yeah, Ambrose. Pardon me.
I was there, no. There appeared to be a sightline issue, not a huge one. If you look to the left, not to the right, but to the left.
I agree.
But you're going to have that sightline issue because it's so densely populated down there, coming out of any private driveway on Reef Road as well.
But there is no parking. Well, the Reef Road's a different issue. But let's just stay on Fairfield Beach, because that's the key. What did we do to the right? I know we talked about eliminating those 5 spots to the right. Did they get?
No, they're there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
So that's the important part for the commercial business, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you've got the parking lot, plus you have.
All those spaces are very important when you consider the businesses, the people that support it, and everything else. And I don't think if there's any issue that you folks have with the sightline, I don't think our client has any issue with, pushing the spots down. It's the elimination of the spots. So if our customers have to walk another 10 feet to improve the sightline, that's fine, as long as we don't reduce the number of the spots.
And one other comment I would make is that I was told several years ago that Fairfield University was making every effort to get all the kids off the beach and onto the campus. And they have undertaken a very industrious building program. They built some new townhouses. They are right now in the finishing stages of another group of townhouses. So there may be less traffic from the students in the future, because that's a goal they have, is to get them off the beach.
But you're still, I will tell you one thing, the homes are not going to go vacant.
Yeah.
So if kids move out, people are actually going to probably put more money into them. You'll have more full-time residents relying on, those businesses that are down there.
The problem in the summertime, when there are no students there whatsoever, is just as significant, if not more so. And it's more so in the summertime because we have way more children and way more older adults that are part of the community. So it's actually a worse issue in the summertime than it is for the students. Like, at the end of the day, while I want the students to have parking, if they have to walk up Reef Road to Veterans Park, then they'll do that. But when my in-laws come, or when, my siblings or nieces and nephews come, like, they should be able to park reasonably close by.
Okay.
All right. Well, hearing that, I guess I'll make the motion to deny the application, which was for the removal of the 3 parking spots in front of 672, 674, 676, 678, 680, and 682 Fairfield Beach Road. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Pine. All those in favor say...
Before we vote,
Yep.
may I please ask one more thing? If this vote passes, how quickly can we get this stuff reversed? Is that like a tomorrow thing, or is that a 2 weeks thing? How quickly can Public Works get down there and take out the lines and take out the signs, right? It seems simple, but I want to ask the question.
It's dependent on DPW, and I don't want to answer for them, but it is probably a pretty high likelihood that we can have it done by next week. Pretty high likelihood.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was a process that had to go through or a timeline.
It may not look perfect, but until we can get it scraped and then repainted the way it should be, but we could probably get it where parking, we can move the signs that currently say no parking and get rid of the hash marks in the appropriate area to have it so it looks clearly like a parking space.
Thank you. And finally,
If you just wrap the signs in plastic bag or something.
It would just be easier to take them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying temporarily.
Yeah. And I'm sorry.
Instruct your officers not to give out tickets. Okay.
And back to Commissioner Pine's point, can we aggregate all the costs that we have incurred since we had to go do that work and now kind of undo it? I don't know whether it's $200 or $15,000. I have no idea, but it would be good to know what that is for a couple purposes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If I can ask, since you're Attorney Ambrose, a demand letter, would that be sufficient from the town attorney, you think, or?
I think, I know Manning is on vacation this week, Ron's on vacation this week, but I think he he can put together something that the Department of Works can come up with. I can contact him when he comes back and ask him to put together an estimate of what the cost would be.
Excellent.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
denial is now up for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, parking.
Well, thank you.
Step number one, return to parking.
Appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Talk to you later. Peter, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody put a letter in like that. Amazing.
Well, that's why you don't think that it's not real, because who would do that?
And to the police
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
Talk to your client.
He wants to,
I will have that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, next item on the agenda.
Maybe she thought she was going to be
What we got? Donations.
Just lost my internet.
Donations.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the donation. Do you want to read those?
Under new business, canine donation of $700 given by the Tasty Oak LLC.
Nice.
Animal control donation of $25, Stop and Shop gift card from Phil Spala, 1157 Mill Plain Road, Fairfield, and a $20 donation to animal control from Karen and Stephen BRS, 14 Soundview Avenue, Shelton. A $2,000 donation was made to the police department by Mary Daly, 360 Mill Plain Road, and we got some more here. $20 check from Jacqueline Halkovic, 103 Center Street, second floor, West Haven. Donation to our shelter in memory of James Stewart. $50 check from Michael and Mary Donovan, 1798 Jennings Road, Fairfield. A donation to our shelter collected as part of Osborne Hill School's 5th grade service project for the school year 2020 to 2021. There's a little flyer here, I see. You signed it.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept those donations?
I'll make a motion. to accept the
Motion
donation.
by Commissioner Lebo.
Yep.
Second. Commissioner Stone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Sorry, through the chair, it's not on your agenda. Do you want to make a motion to add it to the agenda, or you don't mind? Because it's not on, actually on the agenda.
Sorry, I lost my internet connection, so
Oh,
I
sorry.
lost my
Yeah,
agenda.
you can make a motion to add it to the agenda.
All right, yeah, so I'll make a motion that we add under new business the acceptance of the donations. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Lebo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And we already made the vote to...
You don't need
John?
Jude, you don't know me to read them again, right?
I'm sorry?
We're good, right?
Yeah, no, I just have to add it.
She has copies.
All right, the next item is new business, and there is none. The one thing that I just like under new business is our next meeting is scheduled for September 8th. I don't know if there's anything big on it, but I'm leaving that evening to head to Alaska, so I'll be on a flight. So I don't know if is there anything that you foresee? Well, that's actually 2 months away.
2 months out.
What's that, September?
Yeah, September 8th. I mean, is there any way if we moved it, is that possible or no?
As long as the commission wants it moved, we can move it to whatever date you want.
Do you want to pull it up?
Does anybody have any objections in
Whatever
moving
you
it?
want.
Let's see,
Are you looking to pull it up a day or two, or pull it up a few hours to get to the airport?
I'll be in the car heading to the airport at the time of the meeting.
Okay.
But let me see. This isn't my fault anyway. My wife keeps scheduling this stuff. I just go. I mean, the 7th is Rosh Hashanah, so that's not good. The 6th is Labor Day. Oh, that's the week of Labor Day week, anyways. The previous Wednesday is.
Would the commission prefer having a commission meeting in August and foregoing the September meeting?
I have no problem with that.
Yep, that's fine with me.
Sure.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's fine.
So that would fall on
Second Wednesday of August?
August 11th,
Sounds good.
which is Wednesday, August 11th. Is everybody here during this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that interfere, or?
I'm fine.
All right.
Good.
So,
August 11th?
Do
And
we
we're
need
going
to
to
vote on
forego
it,
the
or-
September meeting?
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
And we have a meeting next Tuesday at the 20th for hiring.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Summer vacation in September. All right. Yeah, that should work, and then we're not backed up.
Excellent.
All right. So we'll move on to the monthly report. Chief?
John, take care of the monthly report?
Okay, so this month we had a bunch of noteworthy work. As you saw from in the beginning, there was a case from the Detective Bureau, a couple of patrol cases stood out, we had an officer of the quarter. Statistics-wise, you'll notice that some of the traffic safety unit, traffic stops are down. That's because the unit was away for pretty much on vacation, using vacation time for the month of June. So there was really, that accounts for that decrease in stops. The rest of the numbers are pretty consistent. Nothing stood out. The only other thing is the construction of the new communication center that's progressing up at Sacred Heart. We're on track for a September finish to the construction, the actual physical construction, and then we'll have to work on the consolidation and getting that going up there. Does anyone have any questions on the monthly report? Sir.
Yes, I have one, John. Just curious item. Information. I look at that number and I see that in January it was 715, and it's been declining every month so that in June it was 7. What comprises that category?
Information, and are you looking in the back here?
Yes.
So that's one of the things that I wanted to
18.
actually bring up to you I'm looking to provide you with meaningful information, some of these things. Information is a very general, broad, could be a COVID positive test, it could be anything. So I wanted to ask you, your opinion, I want to provide you with something that's meaningful. Do you find those statistics at the end of the report, like there's things with airplane crashes that we technically are in the system. You would all hear about an airplane crash if we had one. Do I have to report that number to you? Do you find that of value? If you do, I can keep doing it. It's not a big deal. If you'd like to see something else added to the report, you could always email me and let me know. I want to provide you with stuff that's meaningful for you to make your decisions on and to have statistics on. So, it doesn't have to be today or, tomorrow. I'm just looking at this report and as I'm putting it together, I just want to make sure that what I'm providing you is of value to you. So, if you have any feedback, please feel free to email me or the chief and I can amend it or do whatever. But these ending statistics in the last few pages of the report, they're pulled directly from the LEAS system, the NextGen system, and depending on its haul type, they're not always pulling what they should be pulling.
I didn't know whether they
So
were,
I sometimes go back and have to verify and redo it, and, you know,
it's just a curious
Yeah.
flow of numbers, and I was just,
We were
didn't
using,
know if there was pandemic involved or.
we were
It
using
was.
COVID positive cases as information in there, and
So-
that's.
it flags the report so that if a dispatcher gets a call at a certain residence, officers are aware of the COVID positive presence before they get there. So as you see a decline in COVID or the information cases, it is because there's a decline in COVID positive cases.
Good numbers.
Yeah, that's good.
Kevin?
Quickly, is it too soon to get a view on how we finished the year against the budget for June 30? You know, overtime numbers, anything like that?
Too soon, because we're still submitting requisitions for
Yeah.
for last year.
Any big variances or red flags that stick out that you know of, or good or bad, positives?
I could email you that, but
Okay, I'm just-
off the top, if you don't mind me,
Sure.
we were over in cleaning and janitorial supplies, just because of COVID and all of the wipes and
Sure,
things we
yeah.
had to buy.
Yeah.
With our transition to new uniforms, we were over in the
Spent a
clothing.
few bucks there, yeah.
Overall, our budget was on track. We were over in a few lines. Training did not.
You were over in electricity.
Over in electricity, shut off our bill. That's all I think I remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The big variances were the clothing.
But those are
and
small
the
numbers.
cleaning and, yeah, and
Yeah.
the cleaning.
But-
And,
Fees and professional services
fees
as
and
a
professional
result of
services was over.
several
Yeah.
promotional and
Things
like that, yeah. But the big buckets, the overtime and things like that, nothing,
They were consistent with years past
okay,
and
Yeah.
where we are.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Good, thanks, Mr. Chairman.
And then when we do these new hires, is that gonna help with your overtime? Because I've just heard from the guys that there's a lot of order-ins and things like that on a regular basis in patrol.
Yeah, one of the challenges we have is that when we do the new hires, it takes time to get them fully equipped,
Yeah.
fully, up to speed and certified to be on their own.
So how many are you down now? Like, what would make patrol full again?
So currently, we are down 4. We will be down 5 as of September. That would make patrol full as of September 5.
Nice.
And most of this now is because of vacations, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Everyone just got a new bank of time July 1st. So you get all the time that they didn't use in June. Then they get a new bank of time July 1st. So some spend it right away and
Yeah.
some use it right away. It's all dependent.
What you're seeing now, too, is at the beginning of the year, when we were under lock and key with restrictions with COVID, people couldn't take vacation time. There's nowhere to go. So now they have to use their time contractually by June 30th. So that's why you have such a big amount of people taking vacation, resulting in the overtime.
So the July 20th meeting, we'll be hiring how many new police officers?
We're going to be putting or distributing the candidates to the commissioners prior to the 20th. We are going to ask you to develop I don't want to call it a list, I want to just call it a group of qualified candidates. Some lateral, some new hires. What we find is that we may have spots for the academy in September, which I believe it's like the second week of September or third week of September, a new academy starts, which we currently have 3 slots for. And we also have lateral applicants. So what we would like to do is be able to, yes, maybe get 3 into the academy, and then when that 4th opens up in the second week of September, 4th vacancy opens up the second week of September due to an upcoming retirement, we may be able to grab a lateral and put him in, so him or her. So the goal is to have a group of qualified candidates that the commission approves, and then we could kind of select, and you could, in numerical order, but just the difference between laterals and new hires.
And just for that meeting on the 20th, Kevin's gonna be on a business trip, so will they set up a Zoom for him?
Yeah, and I'm traveling the day before, so I won't have a travel delay, which can be troublesome at times, so,
No problem.
thank you.
All right. Does anybody else have anything?
No.
Is there a motion, anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Peter, seconded by Kevin, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right.